What's up, you guys? Welcome back to PC Gamer Girl. My name's Gray. We are playing The Letter again today because I don't know about you guys, but I am dying to know what happens when Marianne walks into Luke and Hannah's house now. If you have not seen the last episode, please go watch it because it is necessary. All right, let's jump right into this. The mornings after are always the loneliest, although that I can simply brush off. I've already gone through several years of my life with only the fleeting company of others, always nothing permanent. After her, there never was. I'll live through this. The regret, though, it's the one thing that stays and weighs. But there's no time for self-pity. I have a job to get ready for. Yeah, girl, you better get ready for that job. I cannot wait until she freaking walks into this house. It is going to be so good. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job. But after meeting with the Wrights yesterday, it really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules. So we must have skipped the day that she met the Wrights. Because first off, damn Whiskey was damn Mr. Wright. Yes, he was. Oh my god, I'm so sad that they skipped the meeting. And to top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion yet when they hired me. What sort of person does that?
Ugh, rich people.
I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this, however. Twiddle my thumbs and wait for the ghost signal. It's not like I can accept other small projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. I'd have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. I am so sad that they skipped it. Oh, this bums me out. And it might be a huge leap in logic, but a library is the next best thing after the pub. I have to go there anyway. I need more books for Dad, plus I need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Finding a new book or two to read for myself while I have nothing to do isn't such a bad idea either. So on a Saturday morning, I find myself going to the only library in Luxport to hopefully cool off. I find myself yawning at the idea of going to the library. Actually, I love libraries. After returning in Urzuli and a poetry book by Henry of Podbrady, I asked the librarian about the several titles on my list, though I don't have much luck on that front. Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly said that she did not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. I make headway at least when I ask about Siege and Rendition of Havana by Jacobo de Pezuela. Okay. If you count her snarling and pointing at the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other except for myself and a redhead, though I'd wager a guess that Red's just passing by to get the classical literature section. So many books, so little time. Scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles gives me great pleasure. And that's when I spot it.
Hello, sailor. Why don't you come to Mama?
So you said to Luke last night? Oh, bird. It's not the naval battle book I was looking for. No, it's even better. The newly acquired History of Luxborn Architecture, first edition too. I know I just have to get it. I've been waiting to get my hands on this book for so long. The fact that there's only one copy proves to be a problem though, when Red reaches out for it at the same time as I do.
I think I had this first, miss.
It's Becca! I think I had this first, miss? Of course she would say that. I can only stare her down when she refuses to let go of the book. This is such like a small town, apparently. Refusing to let go of it as well, I raise a brow at the girl in the hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller than her would intimidate the girl. Even then, she refused with a rebellious look.
This isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architect was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture?
A beat. She blinks and I can't help the smirk on my face, which is wiped off when she opens her mouth.
Edward Lovett Pierce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and the Irish Houses of Parliament.
Damn, Becca, go girl!
This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops while under the regency of Mary of Guise.
This is not what I was expecting. Let's be honest, how many people would know these history facts? Aside from me, anyway.
Going right to the obscure ones, aren't you? Easy enough. Tullybody Old Bridge in Clackmannanshire, Scotland, on the January of 1560, if we want to be specific.
Suddenly, it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other, back and forth, in hushed tones unless we want to be thrown out of the library. After a while, it goes from some strange competition into this strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. God, I hope she doesn't fall in love with Becca. This is gonna get so weird. But as fun as it is, the exchange soon slows down until we're grinning at how odd this whole scene is.
Marianne McCulloch, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest.
Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns.
By then, we had forgotten about our little tug of war, although she still holds the book in her hands. I had let go of it without realizing when she answered my first question.
History teacher, then?
Got it in one.
No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I'd blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxburn Uni?
Oh no, just St. Goretti's.
Ah yes, St. Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they have very young students.
And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject.
Interior designer, Miss Gales.
Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you?
Marianne, then.
I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point in explaining why I wasn't one anymore.
So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in town.
I blame the rock I've been hiding under, of course. That, and I'm usually only here on the weekdays if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends.
That must be interesting work.
It allows for some creative freedom, sure. But it's like working with children sometimes. Though you probably have it harder working with actual children. The hardest part is convincing them that your idea is their idea.
That sounds exciting.
It is!
But isn't that true for any workplace, though? We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things.
I wonder how many of them are gonna just run across each other before they, all officially meet. Like, we already got Marianne running into Becca in the library and having sex with Luke. It's just...
Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior designing is a frequent thing.
I'm working on the Ermengarde mansion. Lucky me. That mansion. Intach. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start in it. Now that is beautiful architecture.
A pause. It looks like she wants to say something at my mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with the locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. In the next second, though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say.
So, do you have a portfolio or anything I can take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe you have some on a tablet?
Whoops! I accidentally turned the sound all the way down. That was stupid of me.
I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another.
A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built the Parthenon. I certainly don't need one to design a house.
The computer back at my place is all I have. Why should I buy such an expensive gadget that will just get outdated within the year, when what I have is just as functional? The traditional ways had a far more personal touch in my opinion. Not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination. I could not agree more! I can't even count on one hand the number of people I see going outside only to have their eyes glued to the things. Yes! And touchscreens. They're evil things that make typing, what should have been a simple task, harder.
I do have an online portfolio if you'd like. I can...
Speaking or thinking of the devil seems to have summoned it, because before I can even carry on, Rebecca's attention wanes as she pulls out her mobile. For what I can only assume is a call, she gives me an apologetic look before she's standing upright and excusing herself. Off further into the aisle she goes for some privacy. I do my best to give it to her as well, trying to tune her out.
Well, is something wrong? Lunch at the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far. I can be there in 10.
But with how quiet the surrounding is, she can't blame me if I overhear snippets of her conversation. When she returns with a sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly chat has to be cut short.
Sorry, I have to go and meet with some friends.
It's fine. Totally fine. No need to even apologize.
About the book.
Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes she's still holding on to the history of Luxborn architecture. I don't give her time to think about it as I put a hand up and shake my head. Fishing out a pen and paper from my bag, along with one of my business cards, I hand them over to her.
You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it. But you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it just so I can snag it right away. Deal?
She makes quick work, penning her number and handing it back to me with a grin.
Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day then.
You too.
With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone standing in the history section. Although my original plans were simply to sit down and read a good book, our little pop quiz, if you could call it that, made the time pass by without any of us realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new friend. Good job, Marianne. Even with the talk of lunch, however, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There are still other books to be read here, and I'm hoping to find something that will help me while I work with the rights. Something like How to Deal with Arseholes Professionally 101, just in case. I've dealt with a lot of uppity, snooty, and rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the cake, and he probably manages to eat it, too. It seems the world is conspiring to keep me from me time, as my mobile vibrates in my pockets the moment I find something in the shelves of the classic literature section.
Marianne McCulloch, Charlie Rose Design speaking.
Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything, but I just wanted to check in and tell you that we've got the clear to hand over the documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you.
Already? How did they go through the process so fast? Surely there are so many red tapes to even acquire the forms and transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right?
So, if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way.
I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans.
Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at the office right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request.
I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch if that's fine.
Not a problem. Right. Well, cheers.
Right. Cheers.
I don't know. I just don't. Is there some sort of deeper miscommunication when we last met? These things take time. It's been what? A day? Less than that even. There isn't even a point in trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. I really wanted to see the interaction between her, Luke, and Hannah. I'm so disappointed. As it looks like I'm on the clock starting today, I might as well eat. Grabbing sufficient chips from one of the street food stalls, I find a table to spend time with a copy of Marquis de Sade's The Crime of Love, since Rebecca left with the book I wanted. I've read this one before, along with the rest of his works. This would be the 18th time, in fact. Good lord. But it's always nice to read through it again, when I don't have the time to enjoy something new. Besides, when you're dealing with people so filthy rich that they just end up plain filthy, you need to end the old Marquis sound advice.
La blessure se trouvant sans aucune sorte de conséquence.
The wound being without any consequence. Of course, it's folly to think that things have no consequence when everything actually does. Briar Realty Corporation's Luxborn branch isn't too far from the city center, just a few blocks away, and I can easily eat and walk. I'd rather use this time to rest before I go into a flurry of activity. No doubt there will be so much to do once we get hands on the mansion.
Still a lot better than working on another condo, at least.
Surely, no matter how much BRC and the old owners put into the restoration and preservation of the place, any big repairs would be superficial at most. I'm quite certain that, in their haste to sell the property, they did a rush job. It isn't an infrequent thing to do, despite how it is frowned upon. There'll be a lot of hidden issues that I'll need to weed out, and I'll have to make sure to find every single one of them, especially the more serious damages. Structural integrity is definitely on top of the list we will have to consider. The building might look sturdy, but is centuries old. That alone will likely pose a few problems here and there, but put limitations on what we can do. Besides, despite how much I detest these rich snobs, they can pay rather handsomely. So long as I do an excellent job and do more than necessary. Those two things always made sure the referrals keep coming. I don't even have to hunt down projects for myself. Well, lucky you. When I do go up to BRC's office, I can't help but stop and stare when I enter the building. With the lunch hour closing, employees should have been back already if they still aren't filtering through the doors. I get that it's a Saturday, that people feel tired and lazy to be working on a weekend. But they're still on the clock and not bumming around, wasting company time on extended lunch breaks and cigarette sessions. The office is spacious, as it is with these big corporations. Each person is given their little space of what's usually a 2x2 meter cubicle. There's a lot more empty chairs there than are actual people working at their desks. It reminds me far too much of my last day at Porizkova Projects, during the massive layoffs due to the Irish economic crisis. Look at this little statue over here. Or little toy, maybe? I don't know. But it isn't just that, though. Everything is as quiet as a grave. It's as if these people are merely ghosts. Speaking of ghosts, Santos comes in through the door, looking as though she's just seen one. She looks at me, wide-eyed like a deer caught in the headlights, ready to bolt at any moment. I'd ask out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? I'd simply be overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long. Don't worry.
Poor Isabella.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste. I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station and goes to fetch the floor plans. It won't take too long, as she said, but it does take a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in front of a smartphone when you're not working. And even when you should be working, playing those mindless, addictive games. Oh! Look at this! It says Yang Yang Mobile over here. That's the publisher. That's hilarious. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that Batcat thing during work hours, too.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint. Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
Checking out the floor plans, I see that I'll have a lot going for me. Now I know how Ray felt when he found the Cathedral Park West building, or Central Park West building floor plans from that one movie. Wow, that house is huge. Look at this. Where's the little, stairs to the attic rooms right there? Theater? Good lord. Study room, bedroom, hallway, master bedroom. So, like, a lot of this shit is just hallways. Quarters. Huh. This is crazy. I would love to live in a house like this. I don't know what the hell I'd do with it, but, you know. Jacobean style is at its finest. It's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms, the delicate harmony between empty spaces. And speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones.
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger. Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem. And it is an old house.
There have been little details here and there that I would have to I would have liked to address during the open house too. But it was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santos' incident and the trouble with ownership. The wine cellar is going to be a problem. I shudder to think what sort of repairs they did to the place. There might have been things that were swept under the rug, pushed to the dark corner of the rooms and hidden away in barrels. Water damage could have been covered up. There had been floods due to heavy rains in West England just last year, after all, and if there's any sort of damage to the house's foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well. For all I know, a whole family of vermin could have made their nest there, Working with pest control is always the worst. Look at this. There is a whole music room. You could fit a freaking orchestra in here. Good lord. Why? Why? Why is that a thing? There's a gallery. Oh my god. Where's the kitchen? Dining hall? Okay, the kitchen's right here. Okay. Good lord. Craziness. The sheer size of this place is staggering. Even if I did just say it was a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I can chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? First things first, I'll have to...
So, do you want a coffee? The one from the staff room is pretty decent.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Rules against bringing someone coffee? That's ridiculous. And even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John. I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
I have to stamp down on my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the girl, the young woman though, it looks like she has a lot on her mind. If babbling is her way of dealing with stray thoughts, I'm not really one she should be babbling to. I'm gonna say I don't have time for this.
I don't have time for this. Just spit it out.
An air of uncertainty hangs over the girl, although she tries her best not to let it show. She really is too young, too uncertain for what she does.
Well, you see, the coffee, it's getting cold and, that's not good.
I doubt that's what she actually wants to say.
Is that all? May I get back to work without being interrupted?
Sure, I'll leave you alone. And if you need me, I'll be just look for me somewhere. It's not like that's going to be hard.
What a bitch.
What did you say?
What?
I didn't say anything.
What in the world? Did she just read her mind? A strained air settles in the room as we stare at each other, mirroring the same confused expressions. I'm quite sure I heard her say something. Or is that someone from outside? Unlikely. So when she slightly tilts her head at me in question, I can only look away, flustered. It's an awkward affair, and I choose to hightail it out of the realty office as quick as I can. Though I'm able to keep myself professional at all times, does not mean I like it. And seeing that most of the day has already gone by before I realized it, I choose to head back to my flat instead. Despite today being a Saturday. No fun, but at least this way I can definitely avoid another unpleasant encounter. Considering how much I'll be seeing whiskey in the near foreseeable future, I have a feeling I'll need all the rest that weekend can give me. For the first time in a long time, excited as I am to work on the mansion, I cannot wait to be over and done with this project. I bet you can't. Okay guys, we're going to leave this episode here for the day. I just had somebody come over, so I have to actually leave. But if you like this video, please hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel. I would be very appreciative. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video from me. And follow me on Twitch, PC Gamer Girl YT. I will probably be streaming The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker tonight at probably 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you there. And you guys have a good day. Bye.